Once upon a time, long ago, in a village near Baghdad, there lived a man known far and wide, not for his wisdom, but for his extreme foolishness. So infamous was his ignorance that he was often counted among the greatest fools in the region. His foolishness didn't stop at everyday matters. He even named all three of his sons the same: Kamran, Kamran, and Kamran. When this man was on his deathbed, he made a very strange will. He said, "Kamran will inherit my wealth. Kamran will not inherit anything. And Kamran will inherit my wealth." And with that mysterious declaration, he passed away. Before we continue the story, a small request. As you can see on screen, many people watch our videos without subscribing. If you're enjoying this story, please do subscribe so we can keep bringing more stories like this to you. Thank you for your support. Now, the three sons were thrown into great confusion. Which Kamran did our father mean to bless with the inheritance, they wondered, and which Kamran did he exclude? Each brother began to argue and reason. The first Kamran said, "Father loved me the most, so of course he left everything to me." The second argued, "No, he was upset with you in the end. You hurt him deeply, so he definitely left the inheritance to me." The third Kamran simply stayed silent, lost in thought. Unable to resolve the matter, the three brothers agreed to travel to Baghdad and present their case to the great Qazi, judge, who was famous for his wisdom and justice. The next morning, they set out. After a long journey, they encountered a traveler on the road, pacing around anxiously, lifting rocks and climbing sand dunes as if searching for something. "What happened, brother?" asked the first Kamran. "I've lost my cow," the traveler replied. "Was your cow blind in one eye?" asked the first Kamran. The traveler was startled. "Yes, but how do you know that?" The second Kamran stepped forward. "Tell me something. Was your cow limping as if one leg was weak?" The traveler's eyes widened in shock. "That's exactly right. But how do you know?" Before he could finish questioning them, the third Kamran smiled and said, "Was your cow missing its tail?" Now the traveler was completely stunned. "This is magic. Yes, my cow was tailless. But how do you people know all this? I've never met you before in my life." "You all look like fools," he said suspiciously. "But you must have stolen my cow. There's no way you could know these details otherwise." The brothers quickly replied in unison, "We never saw your cow. We only saw signs left behind." But the man wouldn't believe them. "Anyone who can describe the cow so perfectly must have stolen it. I'm coming with you to the Qazi. He will judge the matter." After a day's journey, the group reached the court of the famous Qazi Raufuddin. The Qazi was a noble man, just, fearless, and wise. Even if a king stood before him, he judged only by truth and fairness. All three Kamrans and the traveler were brought before him. The traveler recounted how the three had described his cow in exact detail without having seen it. The brothers, in turn, insisted they were innocent and explained what they had observed. The Qazi turned to them and asked, "How could you describe the cow so accurately without seeing it?" The first Kamran replied, "We were resting on dry grass. One side of the grass was eaten, the other untouched, indicating the cow was blind in one eye." The Qazi nodded. "And what about the limp?" The second Kamran explained, "We saw hoof prints. 3 were deep and firm, but the 4th was shallow. We deduced the cow limped and avoided pressing one leg fully on the ground." The Qazi turned to the third brother. "And how did you know the cow had no tail?" He smiled. "The cow's dung was spread in a straight line. If it had a tail, it would have disturbed the pile. That's how I knew." The Qazi sat silent for a moment. Then the traveler cried, "Lies! They're thieves! They stole my cow!" The Qazi calmly asked, "Do you have any proof?" The man hesitated, then admitted he had none. Just then, a court guard whispered something to the Qazi. The Qazi smiled. "When you all began speaking, I sent my men to search the area where the cow was lost," he said. "They have just returned with your cow. She wandered off and is now safely tied outside." The traveler was embarrassed and apologized. After the matter was settled, the Qazi turned to the 3 Kamrans. "You've come a long way and suffered a false accusation. You must be tired. Rest in the guest house tonight." He ordered his guards to escort them. That night, while they were resting, they felt like someone was watching them. Soon, a delicious meal arrived: aromatic curry and warm bread. The first Kamran took a bite and said, "This isn't lamb, it's rat meat." The second picked up a piece of bread and said, "The woman who made this is a slave, and she's in chains." The third took a sip of water and smiled. "This Qazi is not who he seems." The next day, the Qazi summoned them. "How dare you say the meat was rat?" he thundered. "It was soft, sticky, and had a foul smell unlike any regular meat," explained the first Kamran. The Qazi called the cook. The cook trembled and confessed. Yes, rat meat had been used. The Qazi turned to the second Kamran. "And how did you know the bread was made by a slave?" He replied, "One side was burned, the other uncooked, like someone who was in a hurry or in pain while cooking." The Qazi summoned the woman who had made the bread. She was indeed a slave, and wore chains on her wrists. Now, visibly disturbed, the Qazi asked the third Kamran, "Why do you say I am not who I appear to be?" The third Kamran laughed. "If you were the real Qazi, you would not feed guests rat meat or allow a chained woman to cook for them. You are a fraud." Just then, the doors burst open. The real Qazi entered with his guards. "This man is a spy from a rival kingdom," he declared. "He took my place, but now justice is restored." With the truth revealed, the Qazi turned to the 3 Kamrans. "You, the first and second Kamrans, are the rightful heirs," he said. The third Kamran looked puzzled. "And me?" The Qazi smiled. "You don't need an inheritance. You are not an ordinary man. You are meant for something greater. You will inherit a secret legacy, a life of fighting for truth and justice." The third Kamran looked up to the sky and thanked Allah. His journey was not just about inheritance. It was a mission, a revelation, and a transformation. The lesson, dear friends, this story is not just about inheritance. It is about deception, truth, and destiny. It teaches us, never judge by appearances. Truth is often hidden. Justice may take time, but it always prevails. Greed and lies always meet a terrible end. Every test we face is a gateway to a greater purpose. We hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support means everything.